Good morning, everybody. This is Tuesday Talks at 10:30, Connecting to Spirit with Stacy. My name is Stacy Niedenthal, and I come to you every Tuesday at 10:30 and just talk to you about different things, healing, oneness, death and dying. We talk about seeking out mediums and talking to angels and guides and different things like that. So this is something that I do every Tuesday at 10:30, and it is 10:30. You have to pardon me for a second. I was in the middle of writing something, and Jeff said to me, do you know what time it is? And it was 10 after 10, so I had to hurry and run and get in the shower and get dressed and get on here with you guys. But today is Tuesday. It is the 22nd of August. Can you believe August is almost over? It's crazy. Hopefully I can see comments today. We'll see what happens. I can see that, hi Sherry, hi Linda, hi Shay, hi Chris, hey Denise, hey Vicky. So today I want to talk to you about a constant state of healing. But first, go to the events. I've got a lot of events that are coming up. I was going to write them all down, but ran out of time. But I'll be in Bel Air, Maryland coming up. I have a gallery reading here at Hip Gypsy Emporium. I have a candle and cards at Hammer and Stain in Chambersburg. And then I am doing a gallery reading at the State Theater in Havre de Grace, which is going to be a really awesome space to be able to do that. So if somebody could maybe leave me a comment, that would be great. Hopefully that I can see it. So my name is Stacy. I am a child of God. I am an evidential medium and a spiritual healer. And I've been given a gift from God to channel spirit using love and light for my higher good and the higher good of those that God puts in my path. I'm not the medium that says, I see death all around you and you're going to be dead in 10 days. My gift, my prayer, is that God, that spirit, that angels bring in the most loving message to help your spirit heal. Today is not a reading. This is Tuesday Talks at 10:30, so I won't be doing any readings today. We're just going to talk about something that I woke up in my head. It was crazy how sometimes things just pop up in my head. I was going to talk about one thing last night, already had that planned and ready, and then something else came. So it just validates and lets me know that this is a message that someone needs to hear. So I wanted to talk about that constant state of healing. Do you constantly feel like you're healing from something? And I always, of course, looked for a quote about that, and it says, healing may not be so much about getting better as much as letting go of everything that isn't you. All the expectations of becoming who you are and allowing yourself to become who you are. And that was written by Rachel Naomi Remen. So when I think about constant healing, do you feel like you're in a constant state of healing? There's always something that we have to walk through. There's always some type of something around us. And I thought to myself, are we healing or are we growing and evolving? Are we leaving things behind that we've learned from, whether we're learning to hold on to it, to grow with that, or we're learning to leave it behind? So I wanted to pull a shaman healing card kind of in conjunction with this. And the card that I pulled said, it's all good. And when I go to the book, it says, every experience you have had in your lifetime has the potential to be a teaching tool. By remembering and embracing this idea, the situation you encounter becomes less fraught and unneeded emotion and drama. By not attaching labels or expectations to people or situations, you allow yourself pure divine energy to flow. While you may have a little control over what happens to you at times, you always have control over how you react. Do you react on impulse? Strike out on others and feel hurt? Do you crawl into your safe space where the world seems to be hurtful? When the world seems to be hurtful? Face the challenge in your life head on. Be thankful for the opportunity to experience whatever it is that's happening. Set yourself a goal of learning from every situation in your life and find the silver lining. So when I'm thinking about this constant state of healing, we're in this constant state of healing. Quite honestly, I don't know of anyone who hasn't had some type of trauma, some type of hurt, some type of accident, some type of pain, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, that you've had to heal from, that you've had to work from. We all have something. And it's part of growing. It's part of life. It's part of expanding. And, when I was thinking about this, we all have things from our youth that we've had to heal from. We've had to face things, and walk through it. Things happen at home, at school, at church, at work, within your own mind. Things happen. We make things up basically in our head. We do worst case scenarios, and then we have to heal from what that is. You may have been on a playground as a child and fallen and broken something. You may have walked out your front door and slipped and broken your arm. You may have had a conversation with someone that wasn't the conversation that you wanted to have. Maybe you got fired from a job or were laid off from the job. There's all these things that we walk through. There are all these things that are put in our face boldly that we don't necessarily have a choice of accepting it, healing from it, walking through it, however you want to put it. So when you think of, maybe someone broke your spirit, maybe someone said something to you that just, you had this great idea about something and you wanted to share it with a friend of yours, and they were like, that'll never work. And they broke your spirit. As we get older, just had a birthday the other day, things don't work the way they used to. I wake up in the morning and my hands are stiff and sore. I never had that. I can't lift the things that I lifted before. I can't do the things that I did before. But I'm not going to label it and accept it as a disability. I'm going to say I am growing, I am evolving, I am changing. There are so many opportunities of adventure that are still out there for each and every one of us. We just need to invite them in. So we grow, we evolve, we adapt, we create the world that we live in. And being a medium, I see a lot of different types of healing that's going on. When you lose a loved one, that's one type of healing that needs to go. But there's, you lose your spouse who you were very close to, that's one type of healing. You lose a spouse that you weren't close to, then that's a different type of healing. You lose a child, there's, whether there's drugs involved or, there's all these different types of healings. We don't all experience them the same way. What if you didn't have a good relationship with the person that passed? Or maybe you had lost touch with them, and then you've got this feeling of guilt. It's walking through that. It's adapting. It's that ever-changing. And I feel as if we're that constant supplier of healing. It's something that we constantly have to have on supply. I don't know if supplier is the right word, but it's something we have to constantly be open up to walk through, to overcome. Healing is defined as the process of making or becoming sound or healthy. True healing means to make well again, to be restored back to health, to overcome, to mend. So, how do we heal? How do we mend? How do we become sound and healthy again? Some days, quite honestly, it feels like I'm never going to be the same again. Things are never going to... Oh. Sorry about that. I don't know what I did with my other phone. So we're on this phone. So life happens and things come up. Things that we can't control. They just happen. You have a choice of how you're going to walk through it, not walk through it, face it, avoid it, how are you going to heal from it? And there are times that you feel, as I feel anyway, as if the environment and the things going around us put things in our heads. Everything, there's a name for every emotion anymore. And the name for the emotion isn't always a positive name. You know, you're hypersensitive to this. You have a disability of this. You have a phobia of this. There's certain words for it. And if we accept that, if I accept when I was walking through depression, and I would say I have depression and I have anxiety. I have to, and I accepted that I had depression and I had anxiety. I accepted that that's what I was going to deal with for the rest of my life. But it also scared me because I was like, I don't want to live like this the rest of my life. So I had to start changing the way I spoke and the way what my thought process was. I feel like we get complacent with our own spiritual journey. We get complacent and just kind of accept that the world is just what the world is and I just have to just like deal with it. You can change it. You can make a change in this world. But I'm a true believer that what you say, you become. What you think happens. So again, it's changing that thought process. And it's walking through all the changes that your life has to offer you. What if instead of saying that we were healing, what if we said that we were growing, we were accepting, we were, what's another word that I had? Evolving. Instead of saying I have an environmental disability, right? Everybody's getting so touchy with words lately that you're afraid to speak. And, you know, the news has made us kind of afraid of the world because of all the things that are going on. And the internet and our phones have made us afraid to have social communication. So now we have social anxiety, right? It's what we are putting into our lives that allow us to grow or cripple us. Does that make sense? I have a physical, okay. So let's see. So how do you work through these? So I can't just say to you, oh, let's just change the way this is and not give you an idea of how to make a change. So, and these are not proven facts. These are my ideas, and hopefully my ideas will like cause something to pop within your mind and go, oh, you know what? This is what I can do. So first and foremost for me, as I reconnect with my faith, there's faith and there's fear. I don't want to have faith in fear. And I don't want to fear faith. So I have to reconnect with my faith. I have to allow myself to believe in myself, to believe in the universe, to believe that God has a plan. And I have to do that a little bite at a time. I can't just believe that, oh, the whole world is going to be healed and everything is going to be fine and tra-la-la-la-la. It's one thing at a time. I have to look at what my surroundings are, what I can do to better pray for the universe, to better meditate for the universe, to give my faith to others. I have to stand in my own faith first. So volunteer. This is another way. Help others. How good do you feel when you help others? It gives you those warm, tingly feelings within yourself. It spreads love to others. It allows others to know that there is still good in the world. But I want to caution you, don't volunteer so that you can brag about volunteering. You know, keep that kind of that sacred thing that you do, that special thing that you do. We watched a special last night on Chris Farley, and some of the people that worked with him never knew that he used to go into nursing homes and children's hospitals and talk to kids and families. And, you know, when you think of other actors, yes, okay, so they didn't know. But his brother said, you know, I'm his brother and I didn't know he did that. It didn't need to be known. This was something that he did for himself, for others. So when you volunteer and you place help, you place your love, your spirit, your energy with others, that helps you grow as well. Listening to other people's stories doesn't always mean that you need to tell your stories. Sometimes people just need you to listen. You all have heard me say before, I have such this pet peeve when I have a conversation with someone and I'm explaining a situation that I'm in. And the first freaking thing that they say to me is, well, now you know how I feel. It's not about you. All right? So when you go and you help someone else, you're being of service to them. Listen to what their needs are. Help them. Don't make it about you. Doing yoga, meditating. This helps you to find balance. This helps you to connect with your mind, your body, your spirit. A lot of times when we get quiet, when we do things for ourselves, we find resolution because it gives us time to reflect back on the situation. And it gives you a clearer thought process of what the solution could be. Journal. Journaling is one of my go-to things all the time. Because when you get it out of the mind and onto a piece of paper, it stops the mind from whirling so much. It stops you from like your mind getting out of control. You can write it down on a piece of paper and then you can reread it and have that thought process of, okay, this is what was going through my mind. Well, this isn't going to happen, and cross it off. Well, this isn't going to happen, and cross that off. Oh, here's the solution. And then you circle that. If you are journaling about a trauma that you've been in to get everything out of the body, pray about it after you journal and burn it. Take it to build a little bonfire, but have your own like ceremony where you're giving this situation to the earth. You're giving it to God because God can handle it so much better than you can. I've been carrying this around for 35 years. Why am I carrying it around for 35 years? Let's write it down. Let's pray a release. Let's cut that cord and then let's burn it. Spending time in nature. This helps with the healing process as well. You know, whether you're walking in the woods or taking a brisk walk, whether you're gardening, whether you're just sitting outside, baking in the sun and, breathing in the fresh air. It's getting back into nature. It's allowing yourself to get outside of four walls of stagnant energy. Do you ever feel like you're like suffocating in your own house? Like, oh my gosh, it feels like the walls are closing in. Get outside, take that deep breath of air. Just walk, think, do, be. That's all part of this growing and this healing experience. I like to look at all of these things that are that you're working through that okay, all right, let me get back to that. So the other things that you can do is getting a hobby, keeping the mind and the hands busy, and also speaking to someone that you trust. So back to where I was going to be. It's like a spiritual intervention that you're having with yourself. You're saying, whoa, wake up. Why am I dragging all of this baggage with me? Why am I having all of these negative thoughts about myself? We've been programmed basically since we were young, only to speak when spoken to. You have to agree with what your elders say. You have to do this. But when it comes to a point in a time where you are the elder and you have wisdom to speak, to teach, to talk, to turn off that programming, what we were taught by our parents and what we were taught in schools or in colleges or in churches or in groups and friends, what you were taught doesn't always make it 100% correct. You have to take all of the ideas of what you've learned and come up with what you feel is best. Now, we all know that there's right and wrong. You all know what the difference between right and wrong is. What I'm not saying is take something that is wrong and rationalize how to make it right. It also doesn't mean that your mistakes are set in cement in your soul, in your spirit. You can release those mistakes. You can ask for forgiveness for those mistakes and let it go and learn from it. So you're having a spiritual intervention with yourself. These are the reasons why I love myself, and name them. These are the things that you need to work on, and name them. And this is how we're going to work through this, and name it, just like you were having an intervention with a friend. Have that intervention with yourself. I like to meditate, and I like to listen to music and words, lyrics, especially, like certain lyrics just hit me. And sometimes I think that they're funny. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, that really touched me. Sometimes I think that's the most obnoxious thing I ever heard. But music, that's vibration. So surrounding yourself with music, sound healing, singing bowls. You know, there's all different types of music that's out there. You want to get all of your senses involved. You know, saging a stagnant environment, that's smell, right? And you're saging it and you're putting a blessing into that area. If you've had someone in your home, or if you yourself have been sick and you've been in a sick bed for a while, sage that area. Bring healing, bring health, bring wellness to that area. If you were in an environment where there was this heated conversation, this argument, however you want to call it, sage that area. Get that harsh negative energy out of that area. Open up the windows. Get that stagnant air out of your environment. You know, the thing is, life changes every single day. Every single day we have a new experience. We have something new crop up. You can choose to respond or to react. Just like I'm not responding or reacting because I'm not seeing any comments. I know y'all are probably commenting. I'll have to get them to it afterwards. So we're constantly evolving. We're constantly changing. We're constantly healing. We're growing. We're finding our way. So what I'm asking you to do is being open to inviting in forgiveness of yourself and of others. Have self-compassion with yourself, but also have compassion with others. Positive talk. When you talk about yourself, when you talk to yourself, try and do it in a positive way. Instead of saying, oh, this stupid crap always happens to me. You know what? I'm learning lessons as I'm walking through these situations. They're not always going to happen to me. Have gratitude. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for the friends that are around you. But show gratitude. And also mindfulness. Be mindful of your environment. Who are you talking to? Who's around you? What types of things do you have? Like if you, and some of you have been here in my room, in my reading room. I have different things around me that bring me joy. You know, pictures of my husband, of my kids, of my mom and my dog, pictures of Tom Petty, and, you know, you see Janis Joplin back there. I have stones and crystals. I have a statue of Jesus. I have a statue of Archangel Michael. I have tons of books in this area. Different things from The Wizard of Oz and from Alice in Wonderland. I'm just trying to look around at some of the things that I have. Comfy chairs. The color orange. Orange is one of my favorite colors. You probably can't see the orange. You probably see orange. You know? It's bringing those things in that bring you joy. I have quotes on my chalkboard of things that I want to remind myself that I need to value who I am and what I'm about. One of the quotes says, help me to receive all the gifts that you want to give to me gently. One of the quotes says, help me, how is it? I never knew how strong I was till I had to accept an apology I never received, and forgive someone who wasn't sorry. Like, these are big things for me. These are things that I need to walk through. These are things that I need to have surrounding me. I have chimes in here. I have, angel wings. It's just, candles. Light a candle. I forgot to light my candle today. So when you light a candle, that brings positive light in, and it gives you sound, it gives you sight, it gives you smell. It's bringing those emotions in. So that's talking about forgiveness. That's talking about self-compassion, positive talk, great gratitude, and mindfulness. Mindfulness. That's what I was talking about. Being mindful of what's around you. So I want to just kind of give you something to ponder about. Hold on one second. So as you are growing, as you are healing, did you ever think about there are signs around you that you are on a spiritual growth journey? There's a calling for you spiritually. Some of those signs are, and I just want you to think about, have you ever felt this? Feeling disconnected with your current life, feeling lost, visualizing, dreaming, and thinking of a different life, wondering how others have figured it out, wanting change, reevaluating. You feel as if the world needs you. So, if you are walking through other situations that have been labeled as something else, do you feel disconnected in your current life? Depression does that. Anxiety does that. Fear does that. It makes you feel disconnected. Loss, grief makes you feel that way. So you're on this spiritual journey. Feeling lost. How many times do you feel lost and confused? So feeling lost is lack of self-confidence, lack of self-esteem, lack of social skills. This is all part of spiritual growth. Visualizing and dreaming and thinking of another life. We set goals, right? People say, "Oh my gosh, you're such a daydreamer. You have such an imagination." Well, what's wrong with having an imagination? It's an imagining a new life. It's imagining bringing things into your life. Being jealous or envious and figuring out, or of thinking about friends who you feel have it all figured out. You know what? I bet they don't. I bet they don't. There are the people that, feel like everything is all buttoned up and, face value, they're all buttoned up. But they may not be. They're still struggling. They're still walking through things. Nobody has the perfect life. No one has it all figured out. Are you constantly reevaluating? Again, reevaluating, you can look at it as a spiritual journey, or you can say, I'm reevaluating because I'm so critical of myself. Are you critical or are you reevaluating? Are you saying to yourself, I think there's a better way to do this, and then you're thinking about a different way to do it? Or are you being so critical on yourself that even the things that you do right, you don't believe that you did right, or you could have done it better? So I just want you to kind of flip-flop the way that you think about things, the way that you feel about things. Healing is growing and evolving. Feeling as if the world needs you. How many times have you thought to yourself, what is my life purpose? That's knowing that the world needs you. I have a purpose here. What is my life's purpose? You know what? Your purpose is to be exactly who you are, and to find that passion within yourself, to imagine things, to grow, to heal, to evolve, to help, to forgive, to grow. I think I may have already said that. And when you think about all of these things, there's always the light side and the dark side, basically. The one that brings you positive energy that lifts you up. And then there's that heaviness on the other side. So it's acknowledging, whew, I feel a little bit heavy today. Why do I feel a little bit heavy today? I had an argument with a coworker. And then instead of taking the argument in your head, well, I was right because of this, and this. And instead of talking to 12 and 15 other people about the situation of what happened and why it happened, think to yourself, I need to send forgiveness to this person. I need to put light around them and healing around them, because some of the things that I said were not in the most positive way. I also need to forgive this person because some of the things that they said to me didn't feel good, right? It's offering forgiveness. Now, just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you're allowing yourself to put yourself back in that situation. Forgiving yourself is one of the biggest kudos that you can give to yourself. Oh my gosh, I screwed up in a big way. All right, what did I learn from it? Well, I'm never going to do that again. But you forgive yourself, you continue to go. There's a prayer that jumped out at me that I thought was interesting. And you can do it as a prayer or a meditation. You can add to it, you can subtract to it. But it says, touch me now with your healing hands, for I believe that it is your will for me to be well, mind, body, and spirit. So whether it's God, consciousness, the world, you know what? Touch me now with your healing hands, because I believe that I will be well in my mind, my body, and my spirit. So healing to me is just a word. It's a constant growth is what it is. It's evolving. It's walking through life. Life is a constant journey of ups and downs, of bumps. And yes, we have to heal from those. But if we constantly say, oh, I got to walk through healing. Oh, I need to heal. It puts yourself, it puts in your spirit, in your mind that I'm never going to heal. Things are never going to be right again. I need things to be better. So I feel if you change some words, if you change that thought process, I'm growing, I'm evolving as I am healing. Did it hurt? Yes. To me, something that heals, you cut yourself, it bleeds, you put a bandage on it, we clean it out first, you put a bandage on it, it becomes a scab, it goes away. No more, no more cut. When you heal the mind, the body, and the spirit, sometimes it never goes away. You learn to adapt, you learn to grow through it. So allow yourself, give yourself permission to walk through this, to change your thought process in most positive ways. Are you going to have a positive day every single day? No, but what did you learn from it? What did you learn from it? I just had a very, aggravating experience with a company that I thought was very professional, that I thought was offering me certain things, and come to find out that they weren't. Now, I could either be angry about that all my life, or I can say, okay, what did I learn from this? And I did learn some things. So it's taking that bump in the road and figuring out what you're learning from it. And the quote says, healing may not be so much about getting better as letting go of everything that isn't you. All of the beliefs, all of those expectations, and becoming who you are. Trying not to be what someone else thinks that you need to be. Our parents had these great expectations for us, and we have great expectations for our kids, and our kids will have great expectations for their kids. But you know what? Even if they don't do what you think they should do, if they're happy processing and doing what they're doing, they're exactly what they should be doing. And that reminds me, gosh, that reminds me of, there's a verse in Romans where Paul talks about, I don't always do what I need to do. I know what I should do, but I can't seem to do those things that I do. And I know what I need to do. And it just kind of goes back and forth with that. And it feels as if I just kind of stated that. If you know what you need to do, but you can't seem to do it, be happy with what you're doing right now and figure out a way to do the things that you need to do. Let go of those things that are no longer a part of you. Why hold on to a trauma, the thought process that surrounds something that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? Trauma is difficult to walk through. Please don't think that I'm saying that it's not. What, are you going to be a victim or are you going to be a survivor? Are you going to allow yourself to walk through it and to be better and to learn from that? Maybe you're learning that, you know what, that wasn't my fault. All my life, I thought that was my fault, but it wasn't my fault. And showing that love and compassion to yourself and forgiving yourself for feeling that way. So, in thinking about this constant state of healing, it's this merry-go-round. You can either jump on the merry-go-round and enjoy the ride, or you can get dizzy and nauseous and fall off. The choice is yours. But know that life is just that constant state of healing. But grow, evolve. Think about it as a spiritual healing. Think about it as a growth. You plant a seed in the dark, you water it, it starts to sprout, it blossoms, it's a beautiful flower. So maybe you're that seed that's planted in the dark right now. Give yourself that nurturing. Allow yourself to be outside in the sunlight so that you can grow, so that you can blossom. You know what? If you need, reach out for help. There's nothing wrong with a counselor. There's nothing wrong with talking to good friends to help you work through it. Just choose wisely. If it's not the right person, choose someone else. So today is, August 22nd. It's crazy. We're almost through August. Today we talked about being in a constant state of healing, evolving and growing. Hold on, I wanted to go back to that quote that I had there. That says, healing may not be so much about getting better as in letting go of everything that isn't you. All of the beliefs and the expectations and becoming who you are. And that goes back to the card that I pulled. And this is the healing deck, the Shaman Healing Deck. And it says, it's all good. Every experience you have in your lifetime has the potential to be a teaching tool. By remembering and embracing this idea, the situation you encounter becomes less frustrating with unneeded emotions and drama. By not attaching labels or expectations to people and situations, you allow the pure divine energy to flow. Right there it is. Don't label it. While you may have little control over what happens to you at times, you always have control over how you react. Do you react on impulse, strike out at others when you feel hurt? Do you crawl into a safe place when the world feels like it's hurtful? Face the challenges of your life head on. Be thankful for the opportunity to experience whatever is happening. Set yourself a goal of learning from every situation in your life and find that silver lining. So, today is every day. I pray that you all are living the life you love. You're loving the life you live. If not, you're the only one that can change it. Find that silver lining. Evolve. Grow. Embrace. All right, guys. I will talk to you next Tuesday at 10:30. Who knows what we'll talk about? Maybe we'll talk about what I thought I was going to talk about this morning. But I really felt as though this was something that I needed to speak on. And I hope it touched your heart, and I hope it made you think and maybe changed your thought process about something that you have labeled about yourself. All right, guys. Have a great and wonderful day. Peace out. I love you, and I will talk to you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.